Okay, so we just had a look at trance structure. We saw that most tracks follow the same fundamental sort of structure. Now, house is similar, but as you'll see from this video, it is a bit different. Trance normally builds up to a final peak, a climax, whereas house is, less energetically dynamic and it's more driving the whole time. So I've got 5 tracks here that I've applied the same verse chorus tagging to. Some people argue that you shouldn't call sections of house music by verse and chorus, but for the sake of consistency, that's what I'm going to do. So the first track here is Toim 103 by My Digital Enemy, and the track is quite high energy. It's got an iconic rhythm, so I'm just going to play some of this for you. Quite minimal but very effective. So basically we start with an intro, then we've got this verse which has this quite memorable vocal sample underpinned by a piano line. Which obviously moves into the pre-build or pre-chorus, and then the drop or chorus. And what's interesting about this track is that the verse contrasts the chorus a lot. So you've got the smooth flowing verse or breakdown, and then you've got this very dry, snappy, punchy chorus. So that's quite cool. Now what's interesting is around bar 71, the verse sounds are brought back in to add tension. So we've got this chorus going on, and then over here we get that same sort of piano riff coming back in. So that's real cool, and it breaks up the rhythm. It adds a bit of tension and variation. So that basically repeats itself again. We've got the verse, the pre-build. It shouldn't be pre-build, that doesn't make sense. Pre/build, pre-chorus, and then chorus again. Surprisingly, the second verse and pre-chorus are exactly the same length. Now, you'll often find in other house tracks in all kinds of music genres that the second breakdown is actually longer. Okay, so the second track here is Whoomp by Trade Love. Quite a high energy track. And it's got that more classic pumping bass line that you'll hear. It starts with an intro, as expected, and then it moves into what I've called a verse, but it's very short, sort of just like a melody with some vocals over the top. Party people! And then that moves into a pre-chorus. And then finally we have the chorus or the drop. There it is, hit me. Now this chorus is interesting because it's sort of like a 2-part chorus. So we've got this part here, which is just the kick, the percussion, and the bass. And then the second 16 here, or I think it's a bit less than 16. No, it is 16. We have the vocals coming over the top. Which again takes the energy a little bit higher, so that's kind of cool. And then the verse and the chorus or pre-chorus are repeated again before moving back into the chorus and then the outro. Pretty straightforward, very effective. Next track here is Dreams by Tough Love, and this track is pretty awesome. Got a verse at bar 16, though it's technically part of the intro. Then we have a 16-bar chorus before moving into a tag section, so I'm going to play each of these. So that's technically the intro, but we've got vocals, so I wanted to call it the verse in the chorus. And then that plays, and then we've got this sort of tag section here. Which basically brings down the energy before the verse. It's kind of cool. You can think of that like a pre-verse almost, just like we have a pre-chorus. You've got like a pre-verse that comes after the chorus. And then we've got a bridge, and the energy is brought way down here. It's very, very minimal. And that builds straight back into the chorus. And we've got a tag and a build and another chorus. So very good energy use here. Bit more of an interesting structure than the first two we've got. This track here is Benediction. Classic track. A lot of you will have heard it before. It has a very interesting structure. So it starts off with an intro, but the intro is very complex musically. It gives a little foresight to what's going to happen in the rest of the track. So we've got a bass line, some chords going on, and then it moves into the verse at bar 25. We have a vocal over the top with very minimal instrumentation. So I think this is a verse, and then this builds into the chorus, which is only 8 bars long to start with. And then that moves back into the verse. We've got this chorus again. Now what's interesting here is that there's sort of 2 choruses in this song. So the first 16 bars, we've got that, keep on riding on. And then we've got the second chorus here, which I've called chorus brackets 2, which sounds like this. Which is really a chorus as well, and it appears later on in the song. So the song, like I said, has technically got 2 choruses, which is kind of awesome actually. And the bridge takes out all the vocals and offers this sort of contrast to the song. Very minimal, again very effective, and it slowly builds into chorus 2. Now the 5th and final track is a lot different to these 4. It's more of a bigger melodic track, I suppose, a Avicii kind of sound. But I'm using it to show you how similar the structure is to everything else. It follows an A-B structure, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. So we start off with a simple intro. Then we've got a verse with a very nice vocal in it. And this is a lead vocal being introduced. Forever. This transitions into a pre-chorus. If I could just feel your heart, it's nothing like I ever knew. And then finally we've got this chorus. All I need is your face in my hands. So if you remember back to the pop structure videos, Calvin Harris' song Blame has a very similar structure to this, except it has a bridge. This song doesn't. So that song is quite straightforward. Again, this just repeats itself again, almost exactly in fact. A bit of a longer chorus. Again, we saw that was a common theme, and then an outro. So that concludes our structure type segment. I hope you learned something, and I encourage you to do this yourself. The best way to learn structure is by practicing. So drag some songs into your DAW and study their structure. We're going to be doing more in-depth structure analysis later on in the course with individual tracks, so look out for that. And another thing to note is that we didn't cover all the genres out there, because the fact is, many electronic dance music genres follow similar structure. You can see similarities between house and trance. You can see similarities between them and pop. And if you study drum and bass structure, for example, you'd still find similarities, just as you would with hip hop. Okay, so I'll see you in the next section where we're going to learn about tension and energy.